If the ever-changing and fast-paced evolution of technology and business has you wishing you had the right-sized partner to guide you through your IT landscape, it's time for you to meet the experts at YASH Technologies and C5MI. Tech Talk Managing the New Normal with YASH Technologies and C5MI connects you with the best business experts who are making this happen for companies all across the world. We delve into global business challenges, from SAP S/4, managed services and the digital workplace, to live factory, infrastructure, and much more. Tune into the Business Channel to hear today's top technology industry experts share their insights on how companies like yours are partnering with YASH Technologies and C5MI to transform their IT landscapes. Welcome to a revolutionary hour of business technology talk. This is Tech Talk, Managing the New Normal, with YASH Technologies and C5MI. You'll hear from the experts with the know-how to revolutionize and transform your business for a truly efficient, actionable technology transformation during both prosperous and challenging times. Now, here's your host and moderator, Bonnie D. Graham.
So I'm going to introduce Marty Groover. Marty and I go back a couple of years, and Marty was recently a guest on my Technology Revolution, the Future of Now radio show, along with Derek, talking about the future of the factory of the future. I like to do that. Marty's going to talk about live factory and the future of manufacturing, and I want to tell you, you're all in for a treat. Those of you here in the room, don't even think of touching that dial, as I say sometimes, because Marty has a video, a film he's going to show. But to our listeners on the Voice America Business Channel, you will be able to hear all the audio and just close your eyes and absorb it all, because the narrator is, I say as a voice person, spectacular. So Marty Groover, welcome to Tech Talk, Managing the New Normal. And why don't you give us a little more background about you, Marty?
Hey, afternoon, Bonnie. Glad to be here. This is the first in the series. I get the next 3 weeks, so I'm really excited about coming and talking about all the solutions that we have at C5MI. One of the things that's important to us as a company and everything we believe in is challenging the status quo. That's why we started this company. I got the best job in the world. I get to work with industry experts, and I go out and develop intelligent digital solutions for our customers globally. One of the things I do know is we got to reduce complexity with these tools by converging people, process, and technology into a single version of the trusted truth systems. And we do that at C5MI through 4 main product lines. First one would be digital manufacturing with live factory solutions, which I'll talk about today. The next is enterprise asset management. Huge piece, maintaining equipment, things like that, assets out in the field, your factory equipment. And we'll talk about that next week with our digital reliability center maintenance solutions. And then operational intelligence is another group that we have. We really believe that's the glue between the people, process, and technology. And we have an Illuminate solution for real-time location systems. That'll be the third week. And we're going to bring in a customer that we recently finished a project with, and that's going to be a real exciting talk with Kevin Rell. And then last, I have Lean 4.0. We really believe that it's all about the process. You can't digitize a crappy process, or you just get a digitized crappy process. So supply chain and manufacturing group focus on how to really do the process right. All those things together create a holistic picture, which we call common operational picture. I'm going to show you a video now that will explain it. There's a lot to this, and this simplifies it like we like to do with our solutions.
Okay. Here we go.
Connecting end-to-end with Live Factory. All manufacturers face similar challenges. Disparate data, siloed processes, unplanned downtime that can restrain throughput, disengage their workforce, and erode value. Manufacturers must adapt and run their businesses at the speed of retail to provide exceptional customer experience, increase market share, and improve productivity. They must digitally connect the end-to-end supply chain from customer to supplier, as well as create shop floor to top floor connectivity that drives a competitive advantage. Business leaders need digital tools that yield live data, cockpit-like controls, and live business feedback. They have to leverage technology to create a digital thread, a digital thread that will enable factories to translate strategy into tactical execution and command a fully connected digital supply network. To optimize engagement, employees also need clarity through live data, mobile on-demand access, and capabilities to quickly solve problems through live feedback. C5MI's Live Factory solution creates a common operational picture, integrates the shop floor to the top floor, and guarantees one version of the truth. This eliminates the common challenge of matching transactional accuracy to shop floor reality. Our solution defines, measures, and analyzes live transactional and execution systems without requiring a person in the loop to gather data. So you can focus on improving your processes and creating a control plan to sustain these improvements. The data is transformed instantaneously into information for decision support and automated actions to produce reliable outcomes. To truly engage your workforce and embed sustainable lean capabilities, our Live Factory solutions provide real-time data to promptly solve issues while driving process excellence. Improve your business outcomes by leveraging cloud-based solutions integrated with Industrial Internet of Things in order to create Industry 4.0 capabilities. Create your competitive advantage now with Live Factory. Visit c5mi.com.
Marty, I've seen an awful lot of produced videos for companies. This had to be one of the coolest, best done. I've done videos myself for companies before, and very impressive. I hope our listeners on the Voice America Business Channel were able to hear what the voiceover person was saying. So Marty, why don't you, I'm going to put you back here in speaker view, and why don't you tell us a little bit more about this? What are the common challenges? What do leaders have to do to embrace this Live Factory? How does it all get done?
Well, first of all, I love that video. Every time I see it, I get, excited about it. As an ex-factory manager, I always wanted to have a live factory. So I have a selfish pursuit here to create a live factory. I'm going to talk about those three things, but the biggest thing that we see, and I think it's always funny, Derek and I joke about this all the time. No matter where we go, everybody thinks they're different. And I love that. And it's hard sometimes just to look at a customer and say, okay, I'm listening, but yeah, everybody has the same common challenges. And when we go talk to our customers, that disparate data, we talk about digital transformation. And honestly, we've been digital since the 80s. It's not a problem with having enough data. The real problem is stitching it together live, having it be harmonized across the end-to-end supply chain, and driving that visualization to understand what's happening in the moment. As a factory leader, the worst thing that can happen is you go to the end of the day, you look at the shift, and you look up at your board to see what you made today, and you find out I didn't hit my numbers, which is usually every day. But I find out after the fact, what can I do about that? There's nothing I can do. That epic of time is already left. I can't solve that problem. But if I had it live in my hand and I got an alert in the middle of the shift, could I go down and solve that problem and maybe make sure we don't miss and leak money? One of the things I find interesting is Steve Jobs told us in 2007, you don't know this, but right now, in the future, you're not going to be able to live without this. And it was so funny, if you haven't seen that video, where he talked about 3 different tools that they combined into one. And what did this tool do for us? Well, I'll tell you, I can't live without that phone. I can't run my business without it, because guess what it has? All my files on it, my emails, my meetings. I can do my Zoom meetings from my phone if I'm on travel, wherever. I've even done Zoom meetings on the airplane that has Wi-Fi. Think about that. What is that phone for me? It's a single trusted version of truth. It's live. Everything in my life runs off that phone. Now you got to ask yourself, why can't I have that in my factory?
And why can't people? What's been taking so long to get to that point, Marty?
I just think so many different point solutions. And I think Derek's comments about S4 and what it does to you, the ERP system really consolidated a lot of the transactional systems into one system. Now that engine, when you look at the phone's pulled in all these systems, all the applications that are built, one common user interface, one trusted vision of the truth. Well, we haven't had this thing like the Apple iOS on top of that engine called ERP. We have not had that common operational picture. And what I see going forward is not a lot of point solutions, but a holistic approach with a system that condition-based monitors everything that you do end to end in the supply chain. So when you hear about digital thread and digital twin, all those little buzzwords, it's really about fully condition monitoring your whole supply chain end to end. And we'll talk about that in COVID and why that's so important. But without that live monitoring, think about your car these days. Your car is sensorized. They've already figured out all the failure modes. They're constantly reading signals through your car to the point that they can even come in to your radio and tell you, you got a problem with your car, sir, and we've got a part for you at the dealership. And it will automatically slow your car down so it doesn't damage the vehicle. Think about that. That's amazing. That's what we need for our supply chains. We need a self-compensating, self-healing supply chain that senses everything through it. And that's what Live Factory is really all about. It's a lot of solutions to take the shop floor to the top floor. And we talk about that vertical integration. That's a critical piece. Have you ever watched the TV show Undercover Boss?
Yes, of course.
It's a great show, right?
Yep.
Now, where does the CEO always go when he goes or she goes? Where do they go?
They usually go to the people way down the line. They go away from the executives, people who are working on the street or in the shop floor, if you will, or the people who are doing the packing, the people who are basically the hands-on at the lowest level, the most basic level.
Operational layer, right? That's where you're making money, at the operational layer. But why do they have to go there? Because they don't know what's going on. The iceberg of ignorance, they don't know. So they go down there and all of a sudden you see all this mystery solved. But the people on the floor knew that that was a problem. They're like, yeah, this has been an issue. Nobody listens to me. That's the beauty of the Live Factory solution. It connects that shop floor to the top floor. Again, clarity from the leadership down, but also clarity from the operational layer back up in one single trusted system of truth. That's the most important thing about a Live Factory. And we truly believe going forward, especially because America 2.0, that's going to be required. There's just no doubt about it.
Marty, with clarity brings the opportunity to hold up that mirror. That's what they do on Undercover Boss. Sometimes the clarity is not pretty, that single point of truth. Sometimes the clarity is that the supply chain is not functioning well. The people are not being paid well. The people are not being given opportunities to advance. So it sounds to be like it's a great thing to have that real-time insight, and you have to be prepared to do something with it. That's change management. That's a mindset of leadership, isn't it, Marty? It's not just, hey, you're going to give this to you. It's you got to put your big kid boots on. I'll be polite on this, and you got to say, are we really ready? And the answer is hell yes. You have to be ready, right, Marty? This is the time.
Well, that's the key. We codify lean practices with our digital tools, and that's why we talked about we define what we want to measure, the business process. We measure it. But we also provide those analytics so you can understand why it's not working live. So now, instead of wasting all your time trying to figure out what the problem is, like Undercover Boss does, every day I should be looking at those analytics and driving those improvements. Now, honestly, you can give anybody any tool. If they're not going to use it and try to get better, then it doesn't matter. But with these tools applied properly, we know that, Derek talked about having costs for IT. If we do Live Factory right, it should pay for itself. It should be accretive. And that's what we look for. Where's those business outcomes where we can reduce overtime, reduce scrap, reduce all those things? There's free bags of gold in our supply chains and in our factories and in our maintenance. If we just go out and grab it, it's there. You don't have to go spend a bunch of money. You just have to think about how to do it better.
Marty, I want to move this so we can get time for Denny, but a couple of important things. Number one, I know you've been writing some commentary on LinkedIn recently to articles. There was an article in McKinsey.com talking about the 3 areas of focus that can help plant leaders navigate the transition. And what we're in right now is, for many companies, or too many companies, an initial crisis response. What the blank do we do to the next normal? Protect your workforce, manage your risks to ensure business continuity. That's the goal, and drive productivity at a distance. So that's a whole other topic there. And Marty, you want to share some of your comments about this article? I found them interesting.
Sure, absolutely. I think going forward, utilizing these Industry 4.0 technologies and solutions, I think companies, if they really look at it now, how do they survive? One, that's the most important thing. And then how do we recover faster, better, and be better on the other side of it? And I think these tools can definitely help you. The other part of it is, how do we keep our employees safe? Now, I was brought up in a Toyota production system. Go see act was probably the biggest thing I was taught as a factory leader. You go to that shop floor and you get down there and you talk to those people and you figure out what's going on. You solve those problems. Well, guess what? We may not be able to do that interaction anymore. These live data tools will keep us safe, but keep us all discussing one version of the truth, a common operational picture. So these tools done right can actually keep us safer and have better business outcomes. And we do a digital go see act. So there's opportunity there to really take care of our companies and our people utilizing these tools.
And Marty, I want to mention you also wrote a response or a commentary on an article in themanufacturer.com where they said Industry 4.0 is not only as relevant as it was before the global COVID-19 emergency, it's actually far more relevant moving forward. And that's a quote from John Robinson, Strategic Client Advisor, Digital Supply Chain at SAP. So Marty, what was your comment to that?
Well, I believe continent of consumption is going to be the most important thing going forward. And you're going to see a lot of that manufacturing that went offshore. Just think about the mask. We had countries that were making the masks. We're not making them anymore. And they were holding the supplies because they wanted to keep them for themselves. We can't have that anymore. We can't accept that type of security or safety issues. So manufacturing is going to come back to the United States. Industry 4.0 is going to allow us to overcome that labor arbitrage that sent it over there. So it's really, although it was bad that it went, there's kind of a silver lining there because we can bring these manufacturing facilities back and do it much better and do it cheaper using technology.
Exciting and scary and wonderful all at the same time. And I have to tell our listeners and our viewers here in the room that if you have questions for these experts, they are not behind a glass shield. Maybe social distancing requires it, but you can actually talk to them on email. It's asktheexperts@yash.com. And I love to spell emails and URLs, so bear with me here. So it's ask the experts, plural, experts @yash, YASH.com. They're waiting for you to contact them. Operators are standing by. So Marty, you want to wrap up because I see Denny there in the room and I want to make sure we get plenty of time for Denny because he promised to talk about how do we get the oil changed in our car. Our cars that are getting 3 months to the gallon right now. I had to get that in. Marty, why don't you wrap up for me?
Sure. One thing I know for sure, you can't drive your car looking in a rearview mirror, and nobody likes 30-day-old bread. So let's get a live factory out there. Come talk to me about it. Hit www.c5mi.com. We've got a lot of great information and more videos out there, and I look forward to the next 2 weeks.
Thank you for tuning in to Tech Talk, Managing the New Normal with YASH Technologies and C5MI. To keep the conversation going, tweet your questions and comments to YASH_tech or email john.gretter@yash.com. That's john.gretter@yash.com. We look forward to hearing from you.